labour shortages, school shortages, building safety issues, double staircases. That's happened, would not have happened but for that investment. The second point is in relation to the £39 billion over the next 10 years. Even if you divide that on an average basis per year, £3.9 billion a year, for the country, that's way more than the previous government gave for the country per year in the last 14 years.
That's not, your maths is well off. We'll end it there. He's not he can't even get the maths right.
British politics. Like this one, don't forget to like the video. And subscribe to Doc British. Believe it or not, over 98% of viewers watch our content without hitting the follow button. Subscribing is completely free.
Assembly Member Best.
Thank you. Mr Mayor, I was confused in an exchange with Assembly Member Small Edwards. You seemed to be suggesting the £39 billion affordable homes programme. You knew the proportion of that was coming to London because you were saying it was a good deal for us. Could you confirm the proportion of that £39 billion that's coming to London?
Those are conversations we're having with MHCLG. What's really important is to welcome the monies the Treasury set aside for this part of our expenditure across the country, which is £39 billion. And so we'll be applying for a significant chunk of that.
So it's worth pointing out we have no idea whether this is a good deal for London yet. The Chancellor has specifically mentioned Blackpool, Preston, Sheffield and Swindon, but not London. We have no idea this is a good deal for us. But what we do know is that money, even if every single penny came to London, it wouldn't match the amount that you've said that London needs for an affordable programme.
Well, so the government's announced a record-breaking sum for affordable housing. The government's announced this week additional funding for a City Hall Developer Investment Fund. The government's listened to our representations in terms of rent convergence. The government's listened to our submissions in terms of a 10-year deal for social landlords and registered landlords. The government's listened to our lobbying in terms of councils being able to bid for building safety funds, and yet the member thinks it's not good news for London.
What I have just asked you haven't answered, and with due respect, for the last 50 minutes, I think you've been eating humble pie with your Labour Assembly members, suggesting that the government hasn't listened to you and hasn't done what London needs. But what we do know is that we got a much better deal from the last government than we currently have for this government on the affordable homes programme. So actually, when it comes to this £39 billion, we have no idea how much we're getting. But I don't think you want to answer that, and I don't think you want to address why you are not happy to accept that the number that you asked for £4.9 billion per year. Even if we had all of that grant, we would not get the amount that you asked for. Why don't you address that point?
Mr. Chair, will you allow me to address the 3 points made by the member? The first point is in relation to the recommendation made by the task force brought together by Tom Copley, which is before the perfect storm happened in terms of the housing sector. The experts were saying to the government, if you inject £4.9 billion then, that will avoid the perfect storm. The previous government didn't accept that advice. We got the perfect storm. And so that was the reason for the request at that time. That's happened now. We've got the perfect storm. Construction inflation, labour shortages, school shortages, building safety issues, double staircases. That's happened, would not have happened but for that investment. The second point is in relation to the £39 billion over the next 10 years. Even if you divide that on an average basis per year, £3.9 billion a year, for the country, that's way more than the previous government gave for the country per year in the last 14 years.
That's not your maths is well off. We'll end it there. He can't even get the maths right.
Let him finish.
And the third point is we don't know how much London's going to get until the budget later on this year. Now, she'd been a legitimate position after the budget, if we got zero, to say we've got nothing from the government. That is not the case.
Chair, I'm just saying, Chair, I'm explaining that earlier the Mayor said that we were in a good position for London. Now he's accepting that we have no idea. So I think we've clarified that. Thank you.
Okay. Right. Any more on this particular aspect? Then let's move to Assembly Member Roberts.
It's question 2.
It's the public taxi.
Thank you.
Public
Thank you. Sorry, it's my fault.
Yep.
Thank you for raising this question. I take this matter extremely seriously, and the current backlog is unacceptable. The service that has been provided to licensees be they new or retiring private hire drivers, is not what I expect from TfL, not what drivers deserve. I fully understand and share the concern and frustration these delays have caused, and have made clear my concerns to TfL, who I've been assured are now taking urgent steps to resolve the situation and reduce the backlog. The cause of the backlog is complex. The impact of the cyber incident that TfL was subject to last year, coupled with TfL introducing a new licensing software system, have led to unacceptable delays. The licensing software system has had some implementation issues, which TfL and its service provider has been urgently working to resolve. However, it's clear to me these problems have impacted far too many taxi and private hire drivers. As soon as it became apparent that a large number of drivers were impacted, TfL took immediate steps to improve the situation. This has included recruiting additional staff, using overtime, and establishing a temporary escalations channel for driver representative groups. TfL has also now issued more than 1,000 short-term licences to private hire drivers where appropriate to do so, and when drivers meet the fit and proper criteria. TfL has now moved one of its leading operations directors to add additional senior level focus to this issue and ensure that issues are resolved as soon as possible. In instances where additional information is needed as part of an application, TfL is working with the affected drivers to obtain any missing information so licensing decisions can be made as quickly as possible. With the additional staff now trained, TfL is reporting good progress and is currently working through over 7,000 licensing related documents per week. TfL continues to prioritise existing drivers who are looking to renew their licence but recognises the importance of new applicants and is working to process these as quickly as they can. I've asked TfL to provide me with regular updates, and my Deputy Mayor for Transport, Seb Dance, is also in regular contact with the senior officers responsible within TfL. Regular engagement with trade representatives is continuing. I want to assure all drivers that under my supervision TfL is making improvements to clear the backlog so that drivers can get back to doing their job as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Do you have an indicative timescale as to when the backlog will be cleared, including issuing permanent licences in exchange for the temporary ones?
I'm told by next month there'll be progress made. There's two timelines TfL are working to. One is there'll be a steady state for existing drivers by next month. Mm-hmm. I was unhappy with the date I was given for new applicants, and so they're working to speed that up. I was told new applicants will be done by September. That's not good enough.
Thank you. Many of these drivers, through no fault of their own, have experienced extreme hardship as a result of this glitch, for want of a better word. Sharif Walid from Richmond has had his renewal of his licence. He made his renewal 5 months in advance. He still doesn't have it. Is now in rent arrears and is able to make full council tax payments. A case in Kingston involving a driver waiting for 15 months for their licence renewal. Another driver in Richmond has been made homeless and I understand is taking TfL to court. The family of Robert Dale in Twickenham say they fear that the stress caused by the delay in the renewal may have contributed to his death. It's an enormous amount of hardship which is happening and on your watch as chair of TfL. Do you think now it's morally right for TfL to compensate the drivers impacted? And will you provide compensation to those drivers?
For reasons that are obvious, Chair, I don't want to talk about individual cases, but you mentioned one bereaved driver whose son's been in contact with me. TfL are in touch with him, as indeed my office is as well. I think TfL should be looking at drivers' cases on a case-by-case basis. Like I said, the way TfL has dealt with this issue is not to the standard I expect. 3 categories of drivers, those whose licences are expired, those where they're waiting to do a test or an assessment, and 3 those where there's additional information required. Clearly, there are different sorts of issues in all 3 categories, but I think on a case-by-case basis, TfL should be looking at the issues raised.
And could I just press on the specific issue of compensation?
I meant compensation.
Oh,
yes, I beg your pardon. I think on a case-by-case basis, TfL should be looking at the issue of compensation.
Thank you.
This exchange perfectly captures the growing frustration across London. Time and time again, Khan insists is delivering for the capital. But when asked to provide real figures, the answers simply aren't there. Emma Best cut through the noise by pointing out what Londoners already know. Even if the entire £39 billion fund came to London, which it won't, it still wouldn't meet the mayor's own stated requirements. And the truth is London is competing against cities like Sheffield, Blackpool, and Swindon for this funding. Yet Khan tried to present it as a victory before a single penny has even been confirmed. What makes this moment so striking is that it shows the cracks in his narrative. For nearly an hour, he had been downplaying government action, insisting London wasn't being listened to. But when challenged directly, he suddenly shifted gears and tried to paint the announcement as a positive. That kind of inconsistency doesn't sit well with taxpayers who are facing rising housing costs, long waiting lists, and broken promises on affordability. At the end of the day, Emma best managed to do what many Londoners wish they could: look Sadiq Khan in the eye and say, "You don't even know the numbers." A brutal but necessary reality check for a mayor who too often deals in rhetoric rather than results. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to see more political showdowns from City Hall and across the UK, make sure you hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but means the world to us and helps us bring you even more content that holds those in power to account. So, don't miss out. Subscribe now, and we'll see you in the next